I simulated all of The Rock's WrestleMania matches, from dream matches to his latest match to even the beginning. So let's start with the beginning. His first WrestleMania match, WrestleMania 13. The Rock made his WWE debut at the 1996 Survivor Series, but not as the final boss or the People's Champion, but the blue chipper Rocky Maivia with the blue gear and the dumb haircut. Rocky would challenge for the Intercontinental Championship against Hunter Hearst Helmsley. He'd end up winning the championship, pulling off an upset and winning his first title in the WWF. After retaining against Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Rock would need an opponent for WrestleMania as Hunter Hearst Helmsley is fighting Goldust. So who could step up to the plate? You got your picks? Who's it going to be? Alright, well, it's none of them, because it's the Sultan, baby. The Sultan is stepping up to the plate. Why? Well, I don't know. There's no explanation at all why this match is happening. I don't know, maybe Rocky is repaying the favor to the Sultan. You know, who knows? Regardless, your first match in this resim, Rocky Maivia defends the Intercontinental title against the Sultan with Iron Sheik. I've never watched the Sultan wrestle other than this, but it seems like the Sultan might, is pulling out some Rikishi moves. Maybe he's very similar to Rikishi. Iron Sheik interferes in this match, taking the turnbuckle pad off, and then Rocky gets thrown into it and a Samoan driver, but Rocky kicks out, and Rocky then is able to hit his shitty-ass looking finishing move, but the Iron Sheik once again interferes and causes him to not count the 3. Finally, the match ends when Rocky hits a big clothesline on the Sultan and pins him for the 3, and Rocky Maivia ends up retaining the Intercontinental Championship, putting him at 1-0. 1997 was not a great year for Rocky Maivia. The fans hated him, despite being pushed as a babyface, and after failing to get over and also getting injured, WWE finally decided to change things and turned Rocky heel by joining up with the Nation of Domination in August of 1997. This would lead to Rocky turning into The Rock, and it began his ascent up the card. After failing to win the Royal Rumble, although he made it to the final 2, The Rock is going into Mania 14 as Intercontinental Champion. His opponent is the world's most dangerous man. It's Ken Shamrock. Shamrock has been a thorn in the side for both Rock and the Nation, as he was causing friction between The Rock and Farouk over leadership. Regardless, this match has the stipulation that if Rock won via disqualification, he'd lose the championship to Ken Shamrock. So here we go, WrestleMania 14, The Rock versus Ken Shamrock for the Intercontinental Championship. Let's go. Ken Shamrock put up a fight, being the world's most dangerous man and all that. Why are you punching yourself in the face, Ken? But Rock overall dominated this match for the majority of it, and then hit a rock bottom to end Ken Shamrock. So basically, The Rock squashes Ken Shamrock to retain the Intercontinental Championship. Damn, I don't think that's what happened in real life. Well, this is a video game, so tough shit. 1998 would be the year for two people in WWE, Steve Austin and The Rock. After taking over leadership from Farouk, The Rock's star grew brighter and brighter, and by summer's end, The Rock had become a babyface once again. Around the same time, the WWF Championship became vacant due to a fucky-wucky finish. Due to that, a tournament called the Deadly Games would be held that would culminate at the Survivor Series. The Rock, who's now beloved by the fans, would go to the finals against Mankind. But then, Rock turns heel after Mankind gets screwed by the corporation. Rock, Vince, and Shane all reveal it was one big scheme, and Rock becomes the corporate champion for the corporation. Rock ends up going against Mankind, where both trade the title back and forth between one another until Rock definitively defeats Mankind, well, thanks to the help of the Big Show, and retained the WWF Championship going into Mania. Stone Cold got screwed at the Rumble by The Rock, which led to Vince McMahon winning. Great. Stone Cold would end up getting one more shot to main event WrestleMania 15, and thanks to the Big Show again, who threw him through the cage, Steve Austin is able to escape the cage and get his title shot against The Rock. WrestleMania 15's main event is The Rock versus Steve Austin, but there is a twist. The special guest referee would end up being Mankind after he defeated Big Show earlier in the night. So with Mankind as a special guest referee, it's The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship. So I decided to play as the special guest referee in this match, you know, maybe to call it down the middle, make sure that whoever wins should win. Unfortunately, things start to go off the wheel for a bit. When I grab a steel chair and I chuck it at The Rock or Austin, The Rock gets, well, justly angry at me. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you throwing a chair at me, you dumb fuck? But then Austin attacks me for some reason, so I return the favor to Stone Cold. For the most part, I called the match right down the middle. Okay, maybe not that down the middle, but let's just fast forward to the end. So The Rock hits the rock bottom onto Stone Cold Steve Austin, but Steve Austin kicks out. So The Rock locks on the sharpshooter to make Stone Cold tap out, but then Mankind calls for the bell, screwing Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock wins the WWF Championship. I guess Mankind has rejoined the corporation, and it was all big one Ponzi scheme to screw Stone Cold out of the main event of WrestleMania. Shortly after WrestleMania 15, Rock returned babyface and would start to rival Stone Cold as the top babyface in the WWF. When Austin went down with injury, this became wide open and Rock would become the top face in the WWE. The Rock would end up winning the 2000 Royal Rumble, but this wasn't without its own hiccups. Rock's feet hit the floor, so he didn't really win the Rumble, even though it's in the record books he did win. And he would lose his spot to Big Show at No Way Out thanks to Shane McMahon. Meanwhile, the WWF Champion Triple H with his wife Stephanie McMahon Helmsley retired Mick Foley at the same event. Things looked bleak for our hero, with Triple H and Steph in one corner, Shane and Show in another, but Vince McMahon, after being taken out by Triple H, returns to the WWF and helps The Rock get back at it into the main event of WrestleMania, and then Mick Foley returns to get his Mania main event, because why not? And with that, we have a McMahon in every corner. So it's a fatal four-way match. Mick Foley, Big Show, Triple H, The Rock for the WWF Championship. For like 20 minutes or something crazy like that, these four men just fight and brawl and just duke it out. After all the brawling, the match ends actually really quickly. Triple H nails a pedigree on the Mick Foley that eliminates him from the match. Then Triple H does another pedigree to the Big Show to take him out of the match. And then The Rock pops in, does a rock bottom that Triple H kicks out of. So then he gets on the middle rope and does an axe handle and that pins Triple H. Triple H gets pinned off an axe handle and The Rock wins the WWF Championship again. He wins another WWE title again. Except this time with no Mick Foley. The Rock ascended up to the top of the WWE and became the top babyface of the company throughout most of 2000 until Steve Austin returned in the fall of 2000. Throughout the rest of 2000, Rock vs. Austin was teased heavily, from Raw to pay-per-views. This match was destined to happen once again. Stone Cold won the 2001 Royal Rumble, and Rock won the WWF title at No Way Out, and the main event of WrestleMania 17 was locked in. Rock Austin 2. During the feud, Vince made Deborah, Austin's at the time wife, the manager of The Rock. After Rock failed in protecting her, Austin attacked The Rock, and eventually the Deborah drama was taken out because it was kind of shit, not gonna lie. But the main story of this match is not Deborah. It's about how Steve Austin wants the WWF title and will do anything to win it, no matter the cost. So here we go, peak wrestling, WrestleMania 17. Stone Cold Steve Austin challenges The Rock for the WWF Championship. Also, Vince McMahon is the special guest referee of this match. Why? Well, I don't know. Fuck it. That's why. And for the most part, Vince McMahon does call the match right down the middle. But because this is Vince McMahon, you know what's going to happen. He pedigrees Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then The Rock hits a rock bottom to pin Austin for the 3. The Rock has got Stone Cold Steve Austin has gotten screwed again by The Rock, and this time Vince McMahon. We're rewriting history here with The Rock and Vince aligning, and Stone Cold got screwed. After Vince McMahon bought WCW in 2001 and the invasion angle started, surely Hogan and the NWO would be brought in, right? No. Instead, we got Kurt Angle and Stone Cold defecting to WCW, and it ended up being the WWF versus the WWF with Booker T and RVD. And then now that the invasion is dead and buried forever, the NWO would finally show up as the poison to kill the WWF following Ric Flair's takeover. No Way Out 2002. The Poison arrived and the NWO came out and did a weird promo, but they also immediately went after the two golden gooses of the WWF at the time, Stone Cold and The Rock. Originally, Austin was supposed to fight Hogan at WrestleMania 18, but that fell through and The Rock got the spot instead. The build to this match felt like a huge fucking deal. Like, it was a really, really big deal match and they treated it as such. Too bad it didn't main event, huh? You know, it could have gotten the main event, but nah, we gotta have Triple H, who's like wet and oily and roidy, main event the pay-per-view, because fuck you, that's why. So here we go, WrestleMania 18, The Rock versus Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Icon versus Icon. Now firstly, you might be looking at this arena like, damn, that looks like a nice arena. Did you make that? Well, first off, I don't make anything, I do. No, this is a mod from Matfic. I couldn't really figure out how to install the other WrestleMania mods, but I got WrestleMania 18, and it looks fantastic. The match is a back and forth affair between The Rock and Hollywood Hogan, and surely The Rock must go over in this match. I mean, he's gone over on all the other matches, so surely he must go over, right?
That doesn't work for me, brother.
And Hollywood Hogan hits the leg drop to pin The Rock for the 3. Hollywood Hulk Hogan defeats The Rock at WrestleMania 18. That just sounds like the most Hulk Hogan thing I've ever heard in my life. But fine, Hogan, take your victory lap, because we all know in 2025 you're a washed has-been who has to sell shitty beer to people. And makes children cry. Which, that's not actually a joke, that actually happened.
4 hours, had a number, we're supposed to see Mr. Hogan.
And we got
He
nothing.
broke these kids' hearts.
By the end of summer of 2002, both Stone Cold and The Rock have left the WWE for different reasons. The Rock went to Hollywood and Austin left for creative reasons. But when 2003 rolled around, both would find themselves back in the fold. Stone Cold returned at No Way Out, while Rock returned, but as a new character, Hollywood Rock. The reason why he became Hollywood Rock is because the fans were shitting on him after he lost the title, and they crapped all over him because they all knew he was going to Hollywood. So The Rock's like, fuck you guys. You shit on me, well, I'm going to shit on you. His first match would be a rematch against the Hulkster brother. He'd beat Hogan thanks to Vince McMahon's help, and after failing to get a World Heavyweight Championship match against Triple H, he set his sights on something much grander, at least for him. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Ignoring this simulation, Austin has beaten Rock twice at Mania, and the only thing The Rock has not been able to do is beat Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. And this would be the final match for both men's full-time careers, and Austin's final match till 20 years later. WrestleMania 19, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock 3. The trilogy's complete. By the way, there's no special referee in this match. There's none of that bullshit. This is a 1v1 resimulation. Would The Rock end up winning this trilogy? Well, unfortunately no, and in fact, The Rock got squashed. Austin beat his ass for the majority of the match, then hit 2 stunners back-to-back to pin the Great One. Stone Cold Steve Austin finally wins and gets his revenge in this simulation. Mick Foley and Randy Orton have been in a little feud for a bit, and by bit I mean like 6 months. Foley's deemed a bitch for not fighting back against Randy Orton and just cucking away, but Mick Foley finally starts to fight back and stand up for himself, but Evolution are a pain in the ass, 3-on-1. So The Rock comes back to WWE to help Mick Foley beat up these jerks. Unfortunately, we don't really have much else for The Rock, as he just came back for a favor to his old Rock and Sock Connection pal. So here we go, WrestleMania 20, The Rock and Sock Connection back for one more match against Evolution, Batista, Ric Flair, Randy Orton. Despite Rock and Sock Connection being a dream team of sorts, in the end, Mick Foley would not be able to overcome the odds, overcome the numbers game. Batista attacks Mick Foley on the apron, and then Ric Flair locks on a sleeper hold that makes Mick Foley give up. I guess The Rock didn't think, hey, you know, he'll probably get out of this, he'll be fine. Well, no. The Rock and Sock Connection take the L here, and Evolution picks up the big win against Rock and Sock. And unfortunately for Rock fans, this would be the last time we would see The Rock in a WWE ring for almost a decade. And he wouldn't be involved in anything really WWE until 2011. So you might be asking yourself, wait a minute, The Rock didn't wrestle at WrestleMania 27? Well, yes. But he did have a big role at WrestleMania 27. He came back and became the host for WrestleMania 27 and became heavily entwined in the main event feud for the show. John Cena versus The Miz for the WWE Championship. And let's just say that this match and the feud in general was pretty ass. Like, this is one of the worst WrestleMania main events probably ever. The Rock also got involved for basically one reason. What are we going to do for this match? Well, we're going to play as a special guest referee as The Rock between the match of The Miz and John Cena. And in this match, The Miz decided to touch me. So you know what we did? We screwed him. We helped John Cena pick up the win, and once he hit the Super AA off the top rope, we fast counted The Miz, and John Cena becomes the WWE Champion in this simulation. Yeah, that's right. Screw you, Miz. You suck. Alright? Fuck this match. Fuck this WrestleMania 2. This shit was awful. The Rock screwed John Cena out of his WrestleMania main event. Don't worry, kids. He got his title back. And on the next night on Raw, John Cena issued a challenge to the People's Champion for next year's WrestleMania. The Rock accepted, and the main event of WrestleMania 28 is locked in. Sorry, Punk. So what now? Unfortunately for John Cena, he kind of just has to, like, stay in limbo until next year. Or at least until November of 2011. Because The Rock would come back for the Survivor Series to team up with John Cena to take on the team of Awesome Truth. It went exactly as you'd expect, and The Rock is gone again. The Rock does return in the lead up to WrestleMania, and let's just say this gets pretty personal.
Just like I don't need my notes for my promo on my wrist.
So yeah, they're not really fans of one another. But despite John Cena having to carry this whole thing for the most part, we are able to get to WrestleMania 28, and the once-in-a-lifetime match happens. WrestleMania 28, The Rock versus John Cena once in a lifetime. John Cena does a sidewalk slam to The Rock, but The Rock kicks out because why would he get pinned off that? And then The Rock hits a rock bottom, and that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just one rock bottom to pin John Cena, and The Rock wins at WrestleMania 28. Sorry, John. See you next year, pal. So, Rock won the once-in-a-lifetime match, and John Cena goes into his depression arc. So, John Cena proceeds to lose all year long, even to John Laurinaitis, while Dwayne goes back to Hollywood. But, it's 2013, and The Rock comes back with one goal, to win the WWE Championship from CM Punk, who's on a record-setting reign as champion. Unfortunately for CM Punk, he loses to The Rock, and is denied the WrestleMania main event. So sorry, Punky, it's time to go fight The Undertaker. No main event for you. John Cena also wins the Royal Rumble, and to complete his redemption arc, he has to beat The Rock. Once in a lifetime? What was that? It was always twice in a lifetime. What are you talking about, idiot? WrestleMania 29. It's The Rock versus John Cena twice in a lifetime for the WWE Championship. And the match ends up being a finisher fest just like their real life match. John Cena is able to hit a Super AA off the rope, but The Rock kicks out of it. So John Cena tries to go for one more big move, but The Rock blocks it, spine buster, rock bottom, pin, and it's over. The Rock retains the WWE Championship, and John Cena has lost twice. I guess that means he's going to retire now? Yeah, probably not. After over 10 years of being MIA from the WWE, other than one-off appearances here and there, and the Eric Rowan match that we don't talk about, The Rock would finally return for a WWE match. After plans falling through at WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40 would be the time for the Great One to have one last hurrah against Roman Reigns. Oh, fuck. Well, after Cody Rhodes won the Rumble, he pointed at Roman Reigns that he's going to fight him at WrestleMania. But The Rock, with his political pull in the WWE and also TKO, swoops in and takes Cody's spot. It goes as well as you expect. A complete dumpster fire. Fans shit all over this on the internet. This backlash actually did something interesting for once. WWE actually pivoted. And at the press conference for Roman and The Rock, Cody Rhodes comes out and says, "No, this ain't happening. I'm going to challenge Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship." This causes The Rock to turn heel and join the Bloodline. This match would eventually evolve from a 1v1 match to two matches on two different nights, and The Rock would be put in a tag team match as he teams up with Roman Reigns to take on the team of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, where if the Bloodline win, Bloodline rules. If they lose, then all of them are banned between Roman and Cody at WrestleMania 40. The Rock has a 4-minute fucking entrance, and Roman has like a 3-minute entrance, so half of this match is entrances. Nice, guys. Roman Reigns ended up beating Cody Rhodes' ass in this match to the point where The Rock wasn't even tagged in. A spear and another spear from Roman Reigns is able to end Cody Rhodes, while Seth Rollins, I guess, just doesn't care. And Roman Reigns and The Rock win the Resimulation just like in real life, but in the end, none of this mattered because Cody Rhodes is able to finish his story. WrestleMania 42. Well, we know The Rock won't be at WrestleMania 41, so we're going to try to cobble up a story where The Rock wrestles his final match at 42. There are 3 basic scenarios for this. There's Rock versus Cody, Rock versus Roman, or they just put all of them in a triple threat. So we're going to go with option 1 because that's the most interesting. So the story synopsis is the fact that John Cena failed in finishing off Cody Rhodes, so the final boss is coming back for one more match to finish the job, take the WWE Championship, and end Cody Rhodes for good. It's the ultimate battle, the final battle between these two that have been feuding for the past 2 years. Rock, Cody, WrestleMania 42 in New Orleans. And despite The Rock putting up a fight, he does the right thing and does the job to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes hits one crossroads onto the Great One and pins him for the 3, and Cody Rhodes has defeated The Rock, finally ending this feud once and for all. Meanwhile, The Rock's career has also come to an end. Thanks for watching, take care.